So I've just arrived at a 300-acre family farm. It's in its third generation. It's got 2 or 3 houses, outbuildings, etc. The budget has been just at the most massive shock for the farmer here, James Marson. In a moment I'm going to chat to him, and he's I have to say, in a pretty distressed state. So the big shock in the budget was inheritance tax on farmland handed down through the generations. Elon Musk overnight coming out hard, saying to the Labour government, don't do this, leave British farmers alone. James, this is a family farm.
Yep.
So you'll finish up with a situation when you inherit. What will you have to do?
I don't know. Well, obviously I'll have to get some sort of advice from someone. Not that you can actually speak to anyone at the minute, because I've imagining a few phone lines are pretty busy at the moment, but obviously something I'll need to look into. I've done a sort of rough estimate for myself. Probably just have to stop, to be honest, just so I can keep a roof over their heads and stuff.
James would face over £1 million in inheritance tax on a farm that's basically not making much money.
No, well, we're 300 acres here basically. A third of it's some scanfers, like I said before, which we use a bit for the bedding. The rest goes into the power station, like for power and that for homes, obviously. Yeah. The other third is cereals, food for the British public, which, because we're such a small farm, we don't really have the equipment to do so.
You're a genuine family farm?
Yeah, my granddad was, obviously we're the third generation.
Yeah.
My granddad was still coming over here when he was 90 years old, died when he was 92. My dad's 76. Yeah. Fortunately, he has had some bad news cancer-wise, so yeah, he's stuck at home, so he doesn't come over a great deal, but yeah, 300 acres, 3 properties on the farm.
Yeah.
Obviously all got ag ties on. I haven't worked out exactly, but probably looking at £500,000 for each house. We used to be livestock farmers, so yeah, we've got a lot of sheds here. So we're not a great big landowners basically. We are a really, really relatively small farm when you compare yourselves to everyone around here. So yeah, the value obviously of the sheds and stuff, because we used to be cattle farmers, which we unfortunately had to stop. We used to have a head of 600 cattle here, but the stuff we had to follow, it was very, very hard to actually make some money doing that, especially obviously with to support 2 families. There's a fire station up the road, like the Shepherd Beeper, that I've got 300, but basically I've got a 300 acre farm and we work our socks off for it to try and keep all the families running. Yeah. It doesn't pay enough for me to have a normal life. I'm on a contract at the fire station where I do 120 hours a week on call, like sort of to make me up. It's not 120 hours a month, it's actually 120 hours every single week I'm on call to serve the community. Probably could probably do without it, because I've obviously got enough on my plate here.
You'd like to earn a living on the farm, wouldn't you?
Well, obviously, yeah, but we are a small farm. We are a tiny farm. We're not a small farm. We're a tiny farm. You couldn't make a living out of it.
It's the irony. You know, Labour policymakers think these are incredibly rich people. Well, they've got assets, but they're more than assets. It's kind of almost a way of life.
Yeah.
And if he was to face in a year or two an inheritance tax bill of £1 million, it's just not possible, is it?
No, we're obviously trying to make ourselves bigger, trying to bet yourselves like you do. So some of the land we bought, obviously all the 300 acres we got here is actually security for the mortgage.
Yeah.
So I can't turn around and say, oh, do you know what, we just sell a couple of these fields and give it to the government, because it's obviously owned by someone else, the security for the land. So I'd probably have to sell all that first to pay the mortgage off, and then sell whatever I've got left to pay the inheritance tax, to be honest.
Well, I tell you what, I think the government have got this wrong. They don't understand the circumstances of family farms like this at all. They don't get it. And I think we've got to try and put as much pressure as we can on the government to change this, because as it is, it's going to wipe out a huge number of traditional family farms all over this country. I think it's wrong at every level. James, thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thank you.